The new F-35 shocks the Russians, the only American fighter jet to defeat the Su-57. Know this now, fifth-generation fighter jets have changed the world. Having fifth-generation fighter jets in a nation's air force is proof enough that the nation is a world power. But they are more than that. They are the weapons you need when you want to win a war. But it's a double-edged sword. Losing such fighter jets in the middle of a war is a sign that something is wrong, that something is very wrong. And it shows the enemy that you are not invincible after all. So it is clear that Russia is not invincible after all, as Ukraine has just destroyed an Su-57, Russia's fifth-generation fighter jet. In recent years, there has been fierce competition among fifth-generation stealth fighter jets. While Russia is moving towards commissioning the Su-57 Felon, China has introduced the J-20 Mighty Dragon, equipped with new engines, as its response to the American stealth fighters F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. Although these aircraft possess various advanced features, Lockheed Martin's F-35 fighter is still considered to have an advantage over the others. Is the F-35 ahead of the F-22, J-20, and Su-57? The F-35, America's pride, is known as the most advanced fighter jet in the world. This high-tech aircraft has recently moved a step closer to becoming the first fifth-generation fighter jet capable of conducting nuclear strikes. The F-35A Lightning II fighter jet carrying the B-61-12 tactical nuclear bomb at Nellis Air Force Base. The F-35 Lightning II is a single-seat fighter with three variants, the F-35A, F-35B, and F-35C. On September 21st, two F-35A aircraft from the U.S. Air Force were equipped with simulated B-61-12 tactical nuclear bombs to conduct the final flight test as part of the full weapon system demonstration program. The U.S. Air Force stated that the test helped the F-35A Lightning II become the most representative platform for testing the B-61-12 bomb. To pass the nuclear certification process, the F-35A fighters must go through two stages. After completing the initial flight test to obtain initial nuclear certification, the aircraft must conduct a final flight test to achieve nuclear design certification. The data collected from these tests will then be evaluated by the U.S. Department of Defense and the U.S. Department of Energy to ensure that both the F-35A and the B-61-12 bomb perform their roles correctly in both tests. Currently, the U.S. Air Force has a total of 280 F-35A variants in its arsenal. The U.S. Air Force plans to purchase an additional 1,763 F-35A aircraft in the coming years. Additionally, the U.S. Marine Corps plans to buy 353 F-35B aircraft, and the U.S. Navy is considering purchasing 273 F-35C variants. Moreover, several U.S. allies are also integrating the F-35 fighter into their air forces. At least 13 countries are currently operating or planning to operate this fifth-generation stealth fighter. South Korea currently has 16 F-35s in its arsenal. In Europe, Denmark and Norway are in the process of receiving and operating the F-35. Other countries such as Switzerland, Israel, Poland, Japan, Australia, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, Singapore, and the UK are in various stages of purchasing and operating this advanced fighter. Compared to China's J-20 and Russia's Su-57 fighters, the F-35 is present in enormous quantities. As of 2021, China only had 150 J-20 stealth fighters in operation, and the Chinese have recognized the significant gap in their production capacity. Regarding Russia, the country has so far received only 12 Su-57 fighters. Russia's state corporation Rostec has stated that production is underway. According to reports, Russia has ordered 76 Su-57 fighters. Thus, in terms of numbers, the F-35 stealth fighter can easily surpass Russia's Su-57 and China's J-20. Introduce Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II is a stealth, single-seat, single-engine multi-role fighter aircraft developed by the United States for air superiority and strike missions. It also has electronic warfare and intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities. Lockheed Martin is the primary contractor for the F-35, with major partners including Northrop Grumman and BAE Systems. The aircraft comes in three main variants: the F-35A for conventional takeoff and landing, the F-35B for short takeoff and vertical landing, and the F-35C for carrier-based operations. The aircraft is a descendant of the Lockheed Martin X-35, which won the Joint Strike Fighter program competition over the Boeing X-32 in 2001. The F-35 first flew in 2006 and entered service with the U.S. Marine Corps' F-35B in July 2015, followed by the U.S. Air Force's F-35A in August 2016 and the U.S. Navy's F-35C in February 2019. The aircraft was first used in combat by the Israeli Air Force in 2018. The United States plans to purchase 2,456 F-35s through 2044, with the aircraft expected to become the cornerstone of NATO and U.S. allied air power, operating until 2080. Development process. The F-35 is a product of the Joint Strike Fighter program, which merged various fighter aircraft programs from the 1980s and 1990s. One precursor program was the Advanced Short Takeoff/Vertical Landing Program by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency that ran from 1983 to 1994. ASTAVL aimed to develop a Harrier jump jet replacement for the United States Marine Corps and the British Royal Navy. Lockheed Skunk Works conducted research on a stealth supersonic short takeoff and vertical landing fighter for both the U.S. Air Force and the USMC. A key technology explored was the shaft-driven lift fan system. Lockheed's concept was a single-engine Delta Canard aircraft weighing about 24,000 pounds when empty. The ASTAVL program was renamed the Common Affordable Lightweight Fighter Program in 1993 and included participation from Lockheed, McDonnell Douglas, and Boeing. The end of the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 led the Department of Defense to significantly cut spending and undergo subsequent restructuring. In 1993, the Joint Advanced Strike Technology Program was established after the cancellation of the U.S. Air Force's Multi-Role Fighter Program and the U.S. Navy's Advanced Fighter Attack Program. MRF, an affordable F-16 replacement program, was downsized and delayed due to the post-Cold War defense posture reducing the utilization of the F-16 fleet, thereby extending its service life, and due to budget pressures from the F-22 Advanced Tactical Fighter Program. A/FX, initially called Advanced Attack, started in 1991 as the USN's follow-on program to the Advanced Tactical Aircraft Program to replace the A-6. The A-12 Avenger II, produced by ATA, was cancelled due to technical issues and cost overruns in 1991. That same year, the termination of the Navy's Advanced Tactical Fighter Program, a naval development program of the U.S. Air Force's ATF to replace the F-14, led to the addition of fighter capabilities to AX, which was then renamed A/FX. Amid increasing budget pressures, the Department of Defense's bottom-up review in September 1993 announced the cancellation of MRF and A/FX, with the relevant experience being integrated into the emerging JSD program. JSD was not intended to develop a new aircraft but to develop requirements, refine technologies, and demonstrate concepts for advanced strike warfare. As JSD progressed, the need for concept demonstrator aircraft emerged in 1996, coinciding with the full-scale flight demonstration phase of ASTAVL/CAF. Since the ASTAVL/CAF concept aligned with JAST's charter, the two programs were eventually merged in 1994 under the name JSD, with the program now serving the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Marine Corps, and U.S. Navy. JSD was subsequently renamed the Joint Strike Fighter Program in 1995, with STAVL submissions from McDonnell Douglas, Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and Boeing. The JSF was ultimately expected to replace a large number of multi-role and strike aircraft in the U.S. and Allied arsenals, including the Harrier, F-16, F/A-18, A-10, and F-117. International participation was a key aspect of the JSF program, starting with the United Kingdom's involvement in the ASTAVL program. JSF competition. Boeing and Lockheed Martin were selected in early 1997 for the concept demonstration phase, with their concept demonstrator aircraft designated the X-32 and X-35, respectively. The McDonnell Douglas team was eliminated, and Northrop Grumman and British Aerospace joined the Lockheed Martin team. Each company would produce 2 prototype aircraft to demonstrate conventional takeoff and landing, carrier takeoff and landing, and STOVL capabilities. Lockheed Martin's design would utilize work on the shaft-driven lift fan system conducted under the STOVL/CAF program. A key aspect of the X-35 enabling STOVL operation, the SDLF system, included a lift fan in the central forward fuselage that could be activated by engaging a clutch connecting a drive shaft to the turbines, thus increasing thrust from the engine's swiveling nozzle. Research from previous aircraft incorporating similar systems, such as the Convair Model 200, Rockwell XFV-12, and Yakovlev Yak-141, was also considered. In contrast, Boeing's X-32 used a direct lift system where the jet engine would be reconfigured when engaging in STOVL operations. Lockheed Martin's overall strategy was to replace the STOVL variant's SDLF with a fuel tank and the rear swiveling nozzle with a two-dimensional thrust vectoring nozzle for the CTOL variant. STOVL operation could be achieved through the patented shaft-driven lift fan propulsion system. This approach would allow for identical aerodynamic configurations for both the STOVL and CTOL variants, while the CV variant would have larger wings to reduce landing speeds during carrier recovery. Due to the aerodynamic characteristics and carrier recovery requirements from the JSD merger, the design configuration adopted a conventional tail over the Delta Canard design from a STOVL/CAF. Notably, the conventional tail configuration presented much lower risks for carrier recovery compared to the STOVL/CAF Canard configuration, which was designed without considering carrier compatibility. This allowed for greater commonality among all 3 variants, as overall commonality was crucial at this design stage. Lockheed Martin's prototypes would include the X-35A to demonstrate CTOL before being converted to the X-35B to demonstrate STOVL, and the X-35C with larger wings to demonstrate CV compatibility. Design and production. As the JSF program transitioned to the system development and demonstration phase, the X-35 demonstrator design was modified to create the F-35 fighter aircraft. The forward fuselage was extended by 5 inches to accommodate mission avionics, while the horizontal stabilizers were moved 2 inches aft to maintain balance and control. The diverterless supersonic inlet changed from a 4-sided to a 3-sided shape and was moved 30 inches aft. The fuselage was made fuller, with the upper surface raised by 1 inch along the centerline to accommodate the weapon bays. Following the designation of the X-35 prototypes, the 3 variants were designated as the F-35A, F-35B, and F-35C, all with a design lifespan of 8,000 hours. The prime contractor, Lockheed Martin, handled overall system integration, final assembly, and testing in Fort Worth, Texas, while Northrop Grumman and BAE Systems supplied components for the mission systems and airframe. The addition of fighter systems increased the weight. The F-35B saw the most significant increase, primarily due to a 2003 decision to enlarge the weapon bays for commonality among the variants. The total weight increase was reported to be up to 2,200 pounds, over 8%, causing all key performance parameter thresholds for STOVL to be missed. In December 2003, the STOVL weight attack team was established to mitigate the weight increase. The air intake was also modified to accommodate a more powerful engine with a larger mass flow rate. Many changes from SWAT's efforts were applied to all 3 variants for commonality. By September 2004, these efforts had reduced the F-35B's weight by over 3,000 pounds, while the F-35A and F-35C had their weights reduced by 2,400 pounds and 1,900 pounds, respectively. The weight reduction efforts cost $6.2 billion and caused an 18-month delay. The aircraft software was developed into 6 releases, or blocks, for the system development and demonstration phase. The first 2 blocks, 1A and 1B, prepared the F-35 for initial pilot training and multi-level security. Block 2A improved training capabilities, while 2B was the first combat-ready release plan for the USMC's initial operational capability. Block 3I retained the capabilities of 2B while incorporating new technology refreshed 2 hardware and was planned for the USAF's IOC. The final release for SDD, Block 3F, would have the full flight envelope and all baseline combat capabilities. Alongside software releases, each block also incorporated avionics hardware updates and flight vehicle improvements from flight testing and structural upgrades. In a process known as a concurrency, as some early low-rate initial production aircraft batches would be delivered in early block configurations and eventually upgraded to Block 3F after development completion. After 17,000 flight test hours, the final flight for the SDD phase was completed in April 2018. Like the F-22, the F-35 has been targeted by cyberattacks and technology theft attempts, as well as potential vulnerabilities in the integrity of its supply chain. Upgrade and develop. The F-35 is expected to be continuously upgraded throughout its life cycle. The Block 2B configuration, with initial combat capability including basic air-to-air and attack capabilities, was declared ready by the USMC in July 2015. The Block 3F configuration began operational testing and evaluation in December 2018 and was completed by the end of 2023, concluding SDD in March 2024. The F-35 program is also conducting sustainment and upgrade development, with the first aircraft from LRIP-2 onwards gradually being upgraded to the basic Block 3F standard by 2021. With Block 3F being the final build for SDD, the first major upgrade program is Block 4, which began development in 2019 and was initially documented under the Continuous Capability Development and Delivery Program. Block 4 is expected to become operational in incremental steps from the late 2020s to the early 2030s and will integrate additional weapons. C2D2 also places greater emphasis on agile software development to enable faster releases. The main elements supporting Block 4 are the Technology Refresh 3 avionics hardware, including new displays, core processors, and memory modules to support increased processing requirements, and engine upgrades to increase available cooling capacity for additional mission systems. The engine upgrade effort has explored both improvements to the F-135 and significantly more efficient and powerful adaptive cycle engines. In 2018, General Electric and Pratt & Whitney were awarded contracts to develop adaptive cycle engines for potential application in the F-35, and in 2022, the F-35 Adaptive Engine Replacement Program was launched to integrate them. However, in 2023, the U.S. Air Force chose an improved F-135 under the Engine Core Upgrade Program instead of the adaptive cycle engine due to costs and concerns about the risks of integrating a new engine, initially designed for the F-35A, on the B and C variants. Difficulties with the new TR-3 hardware, including regression testing, have caused delays for Block 4 as well as a pause in aircraft deliveries from 2023 to 2024. Defense contractors have proposed F-35 upgrades outside of official program contracts. In 2013, Northrop Grumman revealed the development of a directional infrared countermeasure suite, called the Threat Nullification Defensive Resource. The countermeasure system would share space with the Distributed Aperture System sensors and function as a laser missile jammer to protect against infrared-guided missiles. Israel operates a unique subvariant of the F-35A, called the F-35I, designed to better communicate with and incorporate Israeli equipment and weapons. The Israeli Air Force also has their own F-35I test aircraft, providing more access to core avionics systems to include their own equipment. The F-35 has proven to be a significant advancement in military aviation technology, posing a major challenge to competitors like Russia. However, the technological race continues, and we will see many exciting innovations in the future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to support the channel. Please leave your comments and opinions on this topic below. See you in the next video.